Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be planting some flowers around the homestead, and then I'm going to show you around our cellar as well as our 1900 barn on our property. Last year, we started from scratch on these flower beds. There was a blank canvas, so we added a rock border and also added some more perennial plants. We grabbed a few more from a local nursery to add into the mix this year. Our home has a large wraparound front porch, so we've tried to stick to plants that are low growing so the porch can be seen well. This first flower that I'm planting is going to be in a bed that we have separated with black-eyed Susans in it. But this is a flower called a tick seed. This is again something we picked up from a local nursery. It looks and grows similar to a black-eyed Susan with just vibrant color, and it is a perennial too, so it will come back year after year and spread as it grows year by year. The next flower that I'm going to be planting is a foxglove, and we have a foxglove right near this one as well. It was a purple foxglove. We planted it last year, and boy did it take off this year. I think when we last looked at it, the flower had grown around 4 feet tall and had little small flowers around the side of it as well, and it really took off in the soil here. Unfortunately, we had a strong storm that came through that snapped off the main stem. Otherwise, I could show it to you. But we love the foxglove so much. It's a cottage garden type flower that we wanted to add another foxglove to it. And the foxglove that we're adding in this area is a variety called Dalmatian Peach. And it's going to be just a different color, but the same stature and healthy, vigorous plant that this foxglove here was. This flower you're seeing now is a Shasta daisy. We planted that last year. It was just a small pot that maybe had 2 or 3 blooms on it last year, and it has also taken off and is a beautiful perennial that I would encourage you that if you're in the proper zone, have a good location for it, I would really recommend you find a Shasta or Shasta daisy. But what we're planting here is another perennial, and this is called Russian sage. This is a beautiful plant that, as we were at the nursery, it was covered with honeybees, and so we know it's going to be a great plant for pollinators. But also, the smell of it, when you break the leaves off, is a wonderful smell too. It's clearly sage, but there's also a little bit of a minty smell about it too. And again, this is a delicate purple blooms that can grow into quite the shrub if you let it, but we're going to keep it pruned and maintain it throughout the years so that it doesn't grow too large, but just adds more color and vibrancy to our garden. This last plant you're seeing me plant is a eucalyptus plant. This was something that my wife had been wanting to grow and add to our flower bed for a while. We finally found it. We are excited for it. Eucalyptus has a lot of good uses for it in the home, but it's also just a beautiful perennial as well. This is our cellar that goes under our house. Our home was built in 1900. We're not sure if the cellar is original to the house or if it was a later addition. As you can see, this is an earth-walled cellar. The walls were hand dug out. We have our canned goods down here from things we've made over the past several years. Our eggs, relishes, tomatoes, pickles. We also keep a lot of our canning jars down here. There's room for a lot more that we can add as time goes on. One good thing about canned food is it, for the most part, lasts indefinitely as long as the seal stays good. It stays under here around 50 to 55 degrees year long. So this is a great place to store canned goods. And I have talked to the man that grew up in this house, and he said his parents stored potatoes down here and all kind of canned stuff that they would grow as they lived here too. There's a lot of memories around this farm that I've had the pleasure of talking to the gentleman who, like I said, grew up here and found out a lot more about it. So these half-gallon jars here are some jars that I bought at an estate sale several weeks ago from an old farm in the county that I live in, just a little north of us. These jars were buried in a, wouldn't call it a cellar, wouldn't call it a basement, but this was buried in the back of the basement, if you will. And I was able to buy these jars. We love these half-gallon jars for putting eggs in or to make homemade pickles in. You can see right here, these are our homemade pickles that we make. This takes a couple days to make. You have to soak them in lime water and do all kind of good stuff to them, but they are very good. We love to add them to chicken salad, potato salad, or just eat on their own. Our family loves them too. Also have some other jars over here from various places. One cool thing about canning is that a lot of older people, once they find out you're in the canning, they have, for the most part, stopped canning, so they'll gladly give you their jars so that you can put them to use. We've got a lot of jars that we've been gifted over the years, or we've come across at different sales that we've kept, because these jars are priceless in a lot of ways and have fed many families over the years. So we'll just keep carrying on that tradition too. Now I'm going to take you and show you the barn on our property. The man that grew up here told me that his dad had bought this house in the 70s. The house was built in 1900, and the way his dad understood, the barn was built around 1910, so 10 years after the house was built. The barn has been a termite buffet over the years as a result of termite damage, as well as some water damage due to the roofing. It's really not a safe structure anymore. We would love to salvage it, but we're not 100% sure at this point that's possible. But we'd like to try to as time goes on. One corner is structurally weak, but there's a lot of strong bones a part of it too. But the family that lived here before us, they kept a cow here and some pigs and other livestock too. I've got in here stored a couple of old tillers and some old farmhouse sinks that I've got from my grandparents, and so we just kind of use it for that kind of storage now. There's a loft up top that hay would have been stored in, and there's a way you could get up there, but the ladder's long gone. It's rotted too from just constant rain exposure, and like I said, termites and powder post beetles have really took a liking to this structure. But if you look over to the right here, you can see the ladder, what used to would take you up into the loft itself. But again, it's no longer there. And there's a back room to the barn too that you can't access from this side of it. Place to store hay, and got my great-great-grandfather's little wheeled hoe right here in front of us. This belonged to him. I brought it here with us. And then the back part of the barn here was an add-on, a lean-to at some point. I kind of use it just as a catch-all. And again, long-term view, long-term goal, we'd love to either salvage this barn, reuse it, fence in this back lot, have some goats to keep it clear, and maybe a hog or two. If the barn can't be saved, though, I would like to build another one where it exists, but also fence in the back of the property. You can look to your left here, and our lot goes on back a good ways. There's a lot of overgrowth through here that's just from neglect over the years. Again, the gentleman that lived in our house before us, he died well up in his 90s, and a lot of the stuff just was neglected as time went on. I've cleared out a lot of this, but there's a lot of work still to come as time goes on. I hope you've enjoyed this tour around our homestead. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to do so. Like this video, comment below, and as always, thanks for watching. Come back and see us.